Hi there. Let us start with our next video. So the topic that we're going to cover today is an introduction which is professional and has agility. Now we all know that we talk about two introductions. One could be your casual or informal introduction. Then one we talk about is your professional introduction. And that's the reason why people would go for that. It is an aid to your interview. Rather, we can say it is one of the curriculums when we talk about interview tips. Now, why I have added the word agility? Most of the time, it's been observed that people, when they go for an interview, they might feel a bit lethargic, stressed, anxiety. There are multiple feelings which come as an amalgamation in their mind. But what needs to be done? We have to be really agile, means very active, enthusiastic while giving an introduction. Now, there are certain elements which come into consideration when we talk about a professional introduction that we are providing. Now, first, why do we call it as a professional introduction? Now, professional introduction is an introduction which generally we use it while admission. Particularly, we use it when we try and give our interviews. Now, interview is something which is very important, which can either make or break your life in a fraction of a second when you get a yes. And that is when you are a professional. You are hired for a particular task or job for a particular amount of money. That is your salary. Now let's come into what all is required in terms of your introduction. The very first thing that we talk about here is your time wish. Now, time wish is very important. People have this in mind that whichever period of the day we meet, it is a morning. No, I'm sorry. But yes, the time has been divided accordingly. So, if you meet in the afternoon, right, rather if you meet in the morning, prior to 12 p.m., it will be considered as morning. So, better wish accordingly a very good morning, a pleasant morning to the individual you are wishing or greeting to. Then the next comes afternoon, which again is specified time, that is 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. onwards, and further it would be all evening. So it will be going according to time specific, and you have to wish according to that. Again, most of the time when people wish, they simply skip and they come to one thing, which is their name. One thing can simply come prior to that, that is a thanks. Yes, now whom do we need to thank? We of course need to thank the person on the other side of the table. That is the one who is conducting your interview, right? So basically we know we have an interviewer and interviewee. Interviewer, the one who is conducting the interview, right? And interviewee is the one who goes for an interview. So not only does this add an edge to your introduction, but also shows your courteous nature, that how dignified and courteous you are, that you are starting your conversation, your introduction with a very pleasant note of thanks, saying, "Thank you very much, sir, ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to introduce myself." Or you can even say, "I'm really obliged that I've been shortlisted for the final round of interview." Now, after the thanks, let's talk about our name. Now, when we talk about name, you need to always take this into consideration. Rather, I would say always and always give your full name, right? And always talk about your name with a sense of pride, a joy, so that the person might think that yes, you are happy enough, you're confident enough while talking about your interview or while the interview is going on. Now here when we talk, like if I would say, for instance, my name is Abhishek Bernard. So when I give my introduction, I'll literally will be having that smile, that joy on my face that yes, hi, my name is Abhishek Bernard. So always mention your full name. That is a professional way of giving your name. So that is a professional way of giving your name. Always, again, I would like to reiterate, give your full name. Coming to the next point, that will be place. Coming to the fifth point. Once you're done with this, you may talk about your education qualification. Now, when we talk about education qualification, one must always keep this in mind that it always comes in chronological reverse order. What I mean by that is, suppose if I am an MBA, then I would be talking about my MBA first. Like I will say, I have done my MBA from Symbiosis, and then I talk about my education prior to this. When I would say, and I have done my graduation from St. Stephen's College. So this is how one should talk about. If you are a graduate, simply graduate, or you're pursuing or doing your graduation, then you can say, I'm in my final year of graduation, which I'm doing from Delhi University. Prior to this, I've done my plus 2 from St. Columbus School. Mention the school, mention from where you have done your plus 2. So once we are done with time wish, thanks, name, place and education, now let's move to the next point. If you are a working professional, you can talk about your work experience and then you can talk about your qualification. Primarily, if I talk only and only about the people who are freshers, this could be best. Let's move on to the next, which is your family. Now, many a times it's been asked that you talk about your family, elaborate each and everything. It could be a separate question. But a very small liner can be added wherein you specify about your family. Now, when we talk about family, generally people have in mind that there are 2 types of families, but there are 3 types of families. One, we have a nuclear family where you have parent or parents and child or children. Then the next comes extended nuclear family, when your family is extended by your grandparents. So whether it is a grandfather, grandmother, both of them, it will be considered as my extended nuclear family. So at the end, maybe you can say, I am part of an extended nuclear family comprising of 5 members. My grandparents and my parents and of course me. If you have more members, you can talk about your real brother and sister, which we considered as sibling. So you can say if you have one brother or sister, you can use sibling as well. I have a sibling, a younger sibling, an elder sibling, both can do. And then we have a joint family. So this is when we talk about our family. So these could be the basic points which one can cover. Might take around 5 to 6 good minutes, which is sufficient enough to give you a proper explanation when it comes to the introduction. In the next video, we'll meet you again with more information how you can elaborate on certain points. Thank you very much.